Hi there, and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Nancy, and I am making soups today. Today is soup making day. And when I'm making soup, I try to do two on each day. That way we have some to put in the freezer, to give to other people, and to have for our lunch, sometimes lunch and dinner. It might be a hearty soup for dinner and a soup like what I'm going to make right now for lunch. So I am using my cast iron enameled cooker. This is a 6-quart cooker, and it's lovely to look at, but it also has a nice handle. And later on, as the cooking goes on, I'll probably want to use a pot holder to hold on to this. Okay, so words are still slow. So right now in here, I'm going to take the lid off for a while. And right here I have some olive oil just heating up. And in this is going to be just a real chunky vegetable soup. This is what I call clean out the vegetable crisper, when you know things have been in there way too long. And it's either use it or lose it, and I prefer not to lose it. So I use things, and then let me show you. Here's the celery. I use even the leaves of the celery because they are good. I know when and I've also, oh sorry, let's go back to vegetables. I also do a real rough chop on them. So I like, when I'm making a vegetable soup, I don't want it to be a puree. I want it to be something that I'm actually chewing. That makes me feel like I'm getting more out of the meal. So I'm going to get a little water in my hand. The oil is sizzling, so I'm going to add in the carrots. I've got yellow pepper. I've got celery. Oops, I've got stuff rolling on the floor. Some zucchini left over from my garden. It's about time I use that. What else is in there? Carrot, celery, zucchini, and onion. Lots of onion. I've probably got 1.5 onion in here. And that's a medium-sized onion. And I'm going to take my big soup spoon, and I like to almost caramelize the vegetables. I like to get them in there, getting the flavors, bringing the flavors out by cooking them without any liquid in there. And for this recipe, I just use my cutting board and my large chef knife. You know, I have a lot of tools that I could be using to chop up the items, but especially when I'm making a number of soups at a time, I tend to almost get into this system of just cut, cut, cut. Gives me time to think about my day, think about what other soup I might be making, or just, you know, thinking about the people that will be eating my soup. And that's, for me, it's almost a meditative thing to cut them up. I also like it because it's like walking across, a skinny wire, because I never know when I'm going to cut myself. And so each time before a soup, it's like, oh, is today the day? So two things I do really well is stumbling and cutting. So Steve knows to always be on alert. If he gets a note, if he's not home, if he gets a note on the phone saying, call me now, that means that I have done something a little bit off. So today we're going to be doing these vegetables, and I'm also going to put some cabbage in here, and diced tomatoes in a can, and cut green beans. I want some variety. If you only have 2 or 3 vegetables, that's fine. That's why I like canned vegetables. I always keep them in my cupboard. And even though I prefer to eat fresh green beans that we cook on the stove, it's nice having the cut green beans. We add those at the end of a pot roast. I put them into different soups when I just want a little bit something else to them. And the same with diced tomatoes. I can make a whole meal just out of diced tomatoes. I'll heat them up. Stewed tomatoes are my favorite, but I'll take diced tomatoes, heat them up, put some, one of my seasonings, usually like the chili lime seasoning, and some green chilies, heat them up, put some Parmesan cheese on top, and I've got a meal. Okay, those are looking a little bit, so let me just, okay, I'm using my computer, so this is kind of wonky, but there you go. You can see inside the pot at the moment. We're going to go ahead and add, it's 3 cloves of garlic. I don't want those right at first because I don't want them burning, so I'm putting them in and mixing them up. Next, I'm going to add the rough chopped cabbage. And this is about 1/3 of a head of cabbage, a small head. This is, I would say I make this soup 2 to 3 times a month. Sometimes we'll have it just with the vegetables. Other times we will add chicken to it. If I'm being lazy, which is often the way I cook, I will buy at Costco that already pulled apart chicken and that's vacuum packed, and I will just chop up some of that, throw it in. Or if we have a rotisserie chicken, or if we have cooked a turkey, I will cut off pieces of the turkey breast and put it into here. So this is, you know, this could be a nice after Thanksgiving meal because you are, you know, you're so stuffed, and this feels a lot more clean eating than having the mashed potatoes and the gravy and all the yummy parts that make Thanksgiving Thanksgiving. Okay. So we're just going to let that sit a little bit. Let me give a little promo for my favorite bouillon, even though I'm also going to use a box of chicken stock. This is better than bouillon. Let me turn my phone off. Sorry. Pesky little things. This is better than bouillon. We buy ours at Costco, but you can get them at the grocery store in a smaller amount. I just buy the Mac Daddy size. And 1 teaspoon, it's 1 teaspoon of the, so it's similar to the little squares, only it seems fresher, and it also, for me, tastes better. But it's more of a paste, and it's 1 teaspoon is equals 1 bouillon cube. So make that with 8 ounces of water, and there you go. So what I did here is I just had some left in here, so I poured some boiling water in just to give it a little, just to clean out every little bit and piece. Okay, we're going to throw the tomatoes in, juice and all. Sometimes I'll do also crushed tomatoes in here. And then I've already drained the green beans. Just going to throw those in. And again, this is just the way I make vegetable soup. Everyone has their own different opinions. Now it's creating, because it's vegetables and they're sweating, it's creating some of their own juices, which is lovely. Okay. And I've got my heat on medium high. So there's still a little bit in there. So what I'll do is I'll wash it in. At this point, I'm going to turn my stove up to high, because I've got this liquid in here. I'm not going to put all the liquid in yet. For seasonings, there's already enough salt in the bouillon for us, so I'm just going to put some pepper. I like a lot of pepper. Sometimes I'll even add Tabasco to the finished product. I'm going to put Italian seasoning. It's probably, by the time I'm said and done, it's probably about a tablespoon. And this, of course, is the Pampered Chef Italian seasoning. It's so nice and fresh. Yeah, I'm adding more because I can. If you have a favorite flavor, one of the beauties of the Pampered Chef seasonings is that they have some, like there's a Southwestern. So when I make this soup, sometimes I will make it more Italian flavored. Sometimes I will make it with curry and make it more of a Mediterranean flavor or Asian flavor. And then sometimes I'll just, did I say Mexican yet? And sometimes Mexican. I'll use our Southwestern seasoning. So you get to choose what flavor. That also makes a basic vegetable soup taste more than just, it's not like, ugh, crud, we're having the same thing again. Now, one thing, I went to a dietitian class, and she said use as much turmeric as possible, or use it in a lot of cooking, because it's good for anti-inflammatory. Now, if you're not a beautician, a dietitian, and you're listening to this and you're like, no, please write a comment below. So it gives it a yellow color and a little bit of a smoky flavor. So I'm going to mix all that in before we get all of the soup stock in. It's boiling nicely, but of course we know. So if you have leftover broccoli or cauliflower, which are rarely seen in my fridge, this is a great thing to put in here. Also spinach. Spinach is one of those things that I buy it with great intention and often don't get to it. So when I know that I'm not going to be using it in any recipes, then I will. Now I do want to make, I tend to make soup not brothy enough. So we're going with 5 cups of broth, 4 and 1. I like less broth than my husband does, so I make it more brothy, and then I just take less broth when I eat it. Okay, we put everything in there. It took me about 10 minutes to cut up all the vegetables, and then I'm going to let this sit. Once it comes up to a boil, I'll put it down to simmer, and I'll let it cook for another 20 minutes to a half an hour, and then soup will be ready. So I just want to show it to you. Here we go one more time. So there is, where's the camera? There it is. So that is our vegetable soup, the clean out the fridge soup. Clean out fridge. I could call it my cough soup. I don't know. Anyway, so I hope you have a good day and happy cooking out there. Clean out your fridge and make some vegetable soup. Talk to you later. Bye.